Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and I have another diamond in the rough for you today. His name is Sai Barnett. He's a wide receiver and also a kicker out of Davenport. So nice to meet you, buddy.
How's it going?
Going well. Felt like a lot of people really need to get to know you. You actually had a very successful career at Ferris State, being at both of those positions, but then ended up closing up your collegiate career there at Davenport. But before we get talking about anything else, set the stage. Tell us where you're from and walk us through this journey a bit.
Yep. So I'm from Lansing, Michigan. I graduated from Williamston, which is just on the east side of Lansing. Born and raised in Michigan. Grew up in a small town of Charlotte, Michigan, and then we moved to Williamston halfway through my high school career. Played football, played basketball, ran some track in my high school days. Had some interest in all the sports actually to play at the next level, and decided that football is probably my best upside. And went to Ferris out of high school and um, went to Ferris, graduated from Ferris, got my degree from Ferris, and then used my grad transfer to go to Davenport and finished my college career playing football there.
So yeah, you started out first off at Ferris, redshirted that first year, but I mean you ended up eventually having a lot of great success with that program. Obviously, Ferris State, very excellent program themselves. I mean, obviously they had just come off of championship season, and then a couple of years you were actually part of at least one of those runs a couple years back. So interesting. So let's fill in some of these blanks. So you had mentioned basketball, some track, but ultimately you decided to pursue the game of football, which obviously for a guy your size, about 6'1", 200 pounds, that's probably your best bet, because there's not too many guys playing basketball at your size. So what do you love most about the game of football?
Uh, I enjoy the game days. Like the practice is fun, the work is all fun, but the energy you get on a running out on the football field is next level. Like you can't compare it to anything else. So getting that when I was playing varsity football back in high school. I played a little bit in middle school, nothing crazy. I was a big basketball guy. Played basketball year round, played soccer year round when I was before my basketball days. But you can't match that energy that you would get running out onto the field. So that kind of reeled me in, you could say, to playing football and sticking with it. And a lot of my coaches kind of told me, hey, you got a lot of upside, you got a lot of potential. And that was like one of the recruiters were saying, like Sparky McEwen, who's the head coach at Davenport, he actually recruited me to go to Ferris way back when. And he was like, dude, we can work with you. You're super athletic, but you just don't have that football skill yet, like that skill. You're just a natural athlete. So that was part of the reason why I wanted to go there, for someone to really coach me and teach me and involve me into football player.
Yeah, so I mean, you were saying that again, kind of a natural athlete, also played some other sports. Didn't have a long career as a track and field athlete, but the year that you did have, actually did pretty well. Had a 6'4" high jump, over 22 feet in the long jump too. So I mean, um, those jumping events, were they you?
Yeah, so that was I had a pretty good track coach back in the day, and she was mainly a pole vault coach. I think she did a little bit of college coaching, and then she did like travel track coaching indoor, and then she helped me a lot with just my high jump. Um, so I was actually a state champ in long jump, should have been a state champ in high jump. I kind of didn't perform at the highest level at the state champ meet, but yeah, did a little bit of track, did some hurdles. I was really good at hurdles when I did do them. Obviously the sprints I was pretty good in, but my main events were high jump and long jump.
Gotcha. And so growing up there in Lansing, Michigan, Williamston, Michigan, um, I'm sure you grew up a fan of Calvin Johnson, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So,
Grew
is
up
that,
watching Lions.
so I mean, was he your favorite guy growing up, or what?
Yeah, I would say so. Him, and it was fun watching Matt Stafford when he was at the Lions. And then Calvin Johnson, and then my dad's a big Barry Sanders fan. So obviously I wasn't really old enough for Barry Sanders, but my family's always been Lions fans. And obviously the Calvin Johnson era was awesome to watch Calvin Johnson run around and make plays all the time. Every Sunday you make plays. So yeah,
So, how would it feel to put on a Lions helmet? Is that would that be like your dream come true, or what?
honestly, at this point in this where I'm at, any helmet would be nice to put on.
Oh
But
no, no,
yeah,
I
it
understand
would
that.
be it would be pretty cool to put on the Lions run out there, especially because I'm from Michigan and after games, having family and friends being able to go to games would also be so cool to have. Where people aren't having to make travel arrangements. They just drive an hour down the road and you're at Lion Stadium. So
There you go. I mean, well,
it'd be pretty cool.
hopefully you might get that opportunity, man. I mean, your stock is decent for people that don't know. I mean, did a great job solidifying having a solid career and also had a good pro day, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So you transfer from Ferris State to Davenport. I think a lot of what had to do with that maybe is this whole COVID thing, man. Like I think you started off really strong with your career, redshirted that first season, but really came out strong. I want to say 2018, phenomenal year, first team all conference, 1,000 yards, whatever receiving. And then of course you get all this momentum, and then bam, like COVID hits. Had to
Yeah.
be the worst thing to deal with a guy whose career is on an upward trend, man. How did you stay motivated during 2020?
So it's actually funny. Before even COVID happened, I ended up right at the end of 2019 season. I shattered my fibula and tore all my ligaments in my ankle. So I had a pretty gruesome injury that was supposed to be like a year injury and then like potentially not being able to play football again. So I had that
Mm.
and then COVID hit. Well, it was right when I was getting out of my boot, able to start rehabbing, and I couldn't rehab for 2, 3, 4 months or something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I wasn't able to get the rehab that I needed for to get my leg back up to full strength. So COVID actually kind of helped me in the sense where it gave me that whole extra year of recovery from that specific injury. And then 2021 season rolled around and we got a new transfer quarterback who was a lacrosse player, Jerry Bernhardt. I'm sure people know who he is. He ends up making the 53-man roster at Atlanta. Only played one season of football, and he was our quarterback, and he was phenomenal. He could run the football like I've never seen anyone run the football before. So that 21 season, we kind of our team kind of was around him, built off of him. Um, and he led us to a national championship season 2021, but that whole COVID year was definitely, in my opinion, helpful for my sake.
Well, hey, gave you the time to get healthy. You took advantage of that opportunity, man. I mean, obviously that's a big thing. I mean, you had to go through that and get yourself, right. So, and I'm assuming somewhere along the line there, like you had mentioned earlier, you ended up getting your degree. Where'd you get that in there at Ferris?
Yep. So I got a marketing degree and then I have a concentration in digital marketing. So it's more specific to digital marketing. Not sure what I want to do with it quite yet. Hopefully I don't have to use it for another 5 to 10 years, but we will
Sure.
see on
Well, I mean, hey, at least you got that. You finished up your time there and then hopped on over to Davenport. How did that work actually? How'd you end up transferring to Davenport?
So I actually originally transferred to Sanford down in Alabama. So I transferred there right after the draft, basically. So I did summer ball there all of June and then started off fall camp. And then I had some financial issues where I was like, I got to move back home. So I moved back home and it was like a week before the first game, week and a half before the first game. And Sparky, who recruited me to Ferris, he is the head coach of Davenport. He called me up. He's like, dude, he's like, I'll see you Monday. He's like, I'm gonna get you in pads. You're playing for Davenport this year. I was like, all right, let's do it. He basically said like what I needed was the whole reason why I went back was to basically build my draft stock, get a bunch of catches, get a bunch of film, playing a different offense than
Mhm.
the quarterback read run option that Ferris runs. So we did a spread option, like type of offense, and threw the ball around and learned the whole playbook in like three days and played 96 plays or something like that in the first game, and then had like 2 touchdowns, I think 100 yards receiving or somewhere around, right around there. So yeah, it was pretty crazy, but that's how I kind of ended up at Davenport.
All right. Well, you kind of answered my next question a little bit, and that being the differences between Ferris and Davenport. Is there anything more that you would add to the answer to that question?
There's not really much of a difference. Ferris kind of has an established culture. Um, Kind of like the older guys taking the young guys under the wing. And that was kind of the big difference that I noticed between the talent levels right there. And I think that with the whole GLIAC, there's just a different type of breed that you have from the Midwestern core of football players. Um, but the culture was probably the biggest thing. And that's kind of what I brought to Davenport. And I've been to several practices, spring ball practices, and you can just tell the difference how they go about their business now than what they did when I first got there back in August. So I think I kind of brought that to that program, and that was one thing that they needed. And you can look just at the stats, just how we had this past season at Davenport. We were 8-3 compared to the years before where it wasn't so good of a season. So hopefully we keep that rolling there at Davenport, and they have a really good year this upcoming year. They got a lot of returners too, so super good for them.
That's cool. So I kind of want to throw a couple questions at you. Just in general. First off, the biggest knock on a small schooler. I mean, yeah, you're a D2 guy is just literally just that, man. I mean, when they say this guy doesn't face anybody, um, what do you got to say about that? I mean, when you get these people that are, saying, "Hey, this guy might be good, but like I don't know." I know that's a hard question,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna throw it at you, man. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you how do you react to that?
Honestly, for me, it doesn't phase me at all. I know kind of my capabilities. So I've always went against good talent, whether it was in high school or going against bigger schools in high school or bigger schools, even when I went to Sanford, which is a FCS school. Um, Talent level, it really isn't much. I think there's, well, for one, there's a ton of FBS and FCS transfers that come and play in Division 2. So like Ferris recruits heavily for transfers, and so does Davenport. So you get guys who are coming from Michigan, Michigan State, Central, Western, Eastern, and then obviously there's a bunch of other schools. We had an Illinois transfer, Cincinnati transfer. So really, when they come in, they think they're going to be kind of like the top dog, but then they realize, well, there's guys who can play, and
Right.
maybe just they went to a small school like Williamson and Charlotte, the two high schools that I went to aren't really big schools. I think I graduated with right around 600 kids. So I was kind of under recruited because they've said, oh, well, he's not playing anyone, so he must not be that good. So I think a lot of the guys that go D2, obviously not, I can't speak for everyone, but a lot of guys went to small schools and didn't really get the opportunity to go play at a bigger school because they didn't have a big high school. Um, but yeah, that's kind of how I approach things. But I don't care whoever lines up across me, like they're gonna get the work. So just kind of your mentality, I think, plays a big part in it. Like you can't really back down from a fight if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that there aren't great athletes at the D2 level. I mean, bro, you completely killed your pro day. I just want to let people know that some of the numbers that you were able to put together are better than some D1, Power 5 guys even at your position. So Just kind of want to roll through some of those numbers real quick. If they're different than what you know, I apologize, because I get these numbers from other sources. But they had you at a 4.4440, which is really good. Obviously, 39-inch vertical, and a 10.6 broad jump. So those are pretty good. Anything more about that pro day that you want to share?
Yeah, so I'm gonna correct you actually. So those were last year's numbers.
Last year. Oh, okay.
So
That's
because last year,
so what's
we
so
kind of
what's this
talked
year's
about
numbers?
yeah. All right. So last year I ended up doing a pro day. I tried coming out early, um, and had a really good pro day, which is what the numbers you said. This year I kind of topped it off. Kind of knew what to expect, and had my pro day at the Legacy Center, which was like Saginaw Valley's pro day. And my official times were, I'm gonna go off the top of my head. I can't pick it up real quick. I had a 4.38 for my official 40, 40 vert, 10-11 broad, 12 reps on bench. So I benched this year, and then I ran my short shuttle was a 4.13, and then my L cone was a 6.68. So
So
made a
yeah,
substantial jump from last year.
those are fantastic numbers, man. I mean, for a guy who's a couple of years removed from an ankle issue, so I mean, obviously that's not affecting you as much. I mean, if you go out there and you deliver numbers like that, that means that this guy is obviously that natural athlete that we've already talked about, but also ready for the pros, man. I mean, you go out there and you do some of those numbers that you do. I mean, all the scouts are looking your way. They're like, oh, I gotta go back and look at this guy's tape because he's a one hell of an athlete. So you're seriously in a position right now where you're on the doorsteps of the NFL, dude. You're an NFL prospect. Have you been able to digest that whole like idea of you being an NFL prospect?
I think if I make a team, if someone gives me an opportunity, I think it'll all set in then. Right now, I'm just kind of chipping away at um, things that I know I'm not very good at. So there's a lot of improvements that I can make just from my years of not really having great coaches where I'm getting specific needs of what I need. So over the past year and a half, I've been working on the things that I need to improve on. So really right now I'm waking up every morning, I'm going to work out, just trying to get better each day, a little bit better each day. And if someone wants to give me an opportunity, that's all the blessings in the world. And I know if someone does, they won't regret it because I have so much. I still think I have so much potential, and my sky really is the limit. Because like I just know that if I get that one-on-one coaching from the highest level, like there's nothing that's going to be able to stop me.
Great. So you've been able to put together really a good career. Had yourself a great pro day. But when you look back at the entirety of your career, both at Ferris State and Davenport, what's like your favorite moment of all time? Maybe your own personal highlight or game or play or something. What would you want to share in that regard?
There's a couple of them. Obviously my very first catch was pretty awesome. It was just a 10-yard little hitch route, nothing crazy. That was one for the books. Obviously I won a ton at Ferris, so I think I'm not gonna say the right number, but I was 52-2 at Ferris. So my 3 seasons I played, I won 52 games, or it was 51, 53, somewhere right on there, and lost only 2 games. Won a national championship. You can't take that away from me. I'll always be a national champ, which is awesome. The friends I got to make along all the years of playing have been awesome. And then even moving to Davenport, like um, the right after we beat Saginaw Valley, it was our 8th consecutive win, the longest win streak that they had in a regular season in Davenport history. That was super exciting. That was one for the books. I was coming off a high ankle sprain and kind of sucked it up, played during the game. Um, just the adversity that we had going into that game, we weren't favored to win. They were supposed to beat us pretty good, and we ended up beating them and kind of dominated them from a not from a score standpoint, but from yards, offensive yards a game and stuff like that. So a lot of good moments. And then even playing against all my buddies. So Davenport, we played Ferris twice. So I played against all my buddies 2 times, one during the regular season and one for playoffs. And that was even kind of cool because I'm lining up against my roommates, so that I roommates in with for a couple of years. So that was also super cool. I had a lot of great memories, college memories, and yeah.
So we haven't talked about it too much, but I mean, you're also a kicker, or you have been a kicker. Um, do you see yourself doing that at all at the next level? I mean, has anyone approached you in that regard?
Yeah, so I played a lot of soccer growing up. I think it was like all the way up till 7th or 8th grade. I played soccer almost year round, and then I kind of started playing basketball, really like basketball, and then football kind of came into the picture. So it's natural for me. I was actually able to, it's actually funny because I have film of me kicking with my left foot and my right foot. But
Wow.
mainly I'm a left-footed kicker, mainly a punter per se. But I've had a season where, well, 2021 season, I was 7 for 10 from field goal. I don't know how many extra points. I think I was like 56 for 59, or I don't remember what it was for extra points. Then my punting's all I've always been the punter at Ferris and then at Davenport. If a team wants me to kick for them, I mean, it's just like riding a bike for me. It's nothing too hard, nothing I can't do. I know some of the CFL teams are loving me because their rules involve kicking within the game. So I also am an athlete. I'm a receiver, but that I can kick. So um, kind of have that dual threat where I can do a little bit. Hopefully, I can weasel my way into on the special teams on a team. That would be awesome. But honestly, if someone wants me to be a punter or whatever it may be, like I would totally do it in a heartbeat.
Well, I mean, definitely interesting. I mean, it just adds another layer to the kind of player that a team would be getting if they took a chance on you. So, Sai, I want to take a moment to step off the football field and see if there's anything else about this guy that people need to know. So, give me a little bit of something about you that you want to share, something interesting, fun, whether it be your hobbies or anything else. So, give us a little something.
Let me think for a second. I would say things I like to do right now because it's kind of cold. It's actually 60, I think it was 68 today, so it was nice out. But generally, it's pretty cold in Michigan during the winter season. So I'm a big movie guy. I love watching movies. I actually have a movie pass at Celebration Cinema, uh, a monthly pass, so I go watch movies all the time. And then in the summers, it's beautiful in Michigan, so I do a lot of fishing, a little bit of fly fishing. The salmon run in September, August, and that is next level. You go up in the rivers, Manistee River, Little Manistee River, Pere Marquette River, and you catch some beautiful salmon, some brown trout, lake trout, rainbow trout, all of that. I'm there for it. Steelhead, all that type of stuff. I love doing. Love being outside, doing outdoor activities. It's about all I got for you, unless you want some more.
No, it's all good. Sai, before we were actually talking, and for this recorded session, we were talking about you being a fan of golf. So what's your take in that regard, man? You got some favorites or something?
Well, I'm pretty pumped that John Rahm was the winner of the Masters. What I was saying earlier is I was actually at the Masters on Monday, so I had practice round tickets. My brother got them in the lottery drawing, and we went down to Augusta for the day and spent a couple days on vacation down there. So, um, yeah, I do enjoy golf. It's nice to be out on the golf course, swinging with my family, if it's my family or my buddies or whatever it may be. It's definitely fun to be out swinging the golf clubs. Not very good, but I'm okay. I can hold my own.
Hey, as long as you're out there having a good time, that's all that matters. So,
Exactly.
um, well, Sai, we do want to go ahead and wrap things up. I mean, I know we've already talked about your career, your pro day, your aspirations to get to the next level, which I know, hey, you go out there and you deliver like you have, you display that great athleticism that we've talked about. You're going to get that opportunity somewhere. I don't know where, but somebody's going to give you that. But I want to give you the opportunity to talk to all those people right now, all those scouts, and tell them why you'd be a great addition to their team. So go ahead and hit them with your pitch.
Yeah, so my one thing that I think I have over a lot of people is my mentality. I kind of go about my day striving on being the best that I can be. I strive also on continuous improvement. So anything that I can improve on, I want to continue to improve, whether it's work or football or my health or whatever it may be, always trying to improve who I am as a person and how I go about my business. And I think that brings to being on the football field too, like whatever it may be, like I want to be the best at it. So I have that type of mentality, the Mamba mentality, if you prefer to say. But um, yeah, that's kind of me as in a nutshell. And if a team gives me the opportunity, man, they won't regret it.
Well, cool. I mean, again, you do check a lot of the boxes for teams. So I mean, you got yourself decent size, some raw athletic talent. You also know what it takes to be a winner, being a part of a great program, and being a part of changing the culture there also at Davenport when you got there. So I mean, a lot to offer. So so I wish you the very best of luck as you pursue your dreams. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. Sai Barnett, wide receiver and kicker out of Davenport. Check this guy out.